President and CEO of Pan Global Resources, copper exploration company with projects in Spain.
Tim, good to see you. Saw a release yesterday. You are advancing exploration elsewhere in your portfolio. Some pretty good grades in there. What are you after?
Yeah, so I'm glad you noticed it, Matt. Look, this is something that we've been considering for probably nearly 2 years, maybe a little bit longer. We were interested in this area. We were looking at perhaps building a position there, looking at specifically at a couple of targets held by a previous state-owned company, and the opportunity to acquire those came along. We jumped at it, and really it was the grades that attracted us. And as we've seen from our initial sampling that we posted on the news release yesterday, they're consistently high values of copper primarily, which is our main target, but also with high levels of cobalt and nickel as well. And now we're also finding some pretty sort of surprising gold levels right on surface and with some gossans.
Well, tell me about this, because let's say the general consensus for our average global copper recovery is about 0.4%, right? This press release talks about Profunda, copper on the samples of 10.3% with nickel, with cobalt, with silver, with gold. What's the challenge ahead? I guess for me, it'd be great to understand the dollar value per ton of this thing, but what's the process for delivering that?
Yes, I assume in terms of from an exploration process rather than the processing of
yes, sorry, yeah.
So from an exploration process, the reconnaissance work we've done already, which was part of our decision-making process, do we include this in Pan Global's portfolio or not? Does it make the cut? We've tried to be, we've said for years that we'll be opportunistic, but we'll be very selective about what we take on. So the early phase, the first phase of work was to go and look at it, check it in the field, take some samples both on surface, look underground as well. And in this early phase of work, we saw breccias over quite an area, sort of 300 plus meters in one direction, over 100 meters in another direction. We were able to model the old underground workings and see this sort of breccia pipe form. So we saw a number of things. One, size potential. The sampling was showing, again, these consistently high grades, particularly at Profunda, which the old records and information were pointing to some spectacular mineralisation that were being pulled out of that old mine. So we saw the size potential, grade potential, very more importantly, multi-metal, but also multi-target opportunities. So we knew there was another mine called Providencia, looked very similar to the Profunda mine. Not quite as high grade, but still high grade. Talking plus 2%, 4%, 5% values of copper plus other metals, and then we see a whole series of other areas that look very similar but have had no work. So overall, this makes the cut for us, so we can see the potential for this to be a strong project alongside our other flagship project in southern Spain.
So how do you kind of split the work effort, and I guess more importantly the money? Because you're down in the south with Escacina and the Canada Honda and the La Romana projects, which again well above world average type grades that you've been finding there. But these seem extraordinary numbers up in the north. So you got to think carefully about managing market needs. Getting those headlines. Building a business. We've talked in the past about how you build businesses for other big companies with big balance sheets to kind of come in and take you out, and you got to get that balance right. So what does this opportunity up in the north present for you up at Carmenes?
Look, as you know, it's been a tough market the last couple of years for junior companies. We're not sitting on our hands here. We're trying to have success with our exploration work, be very frugal with our cash, and with as you know, we're continuing to drill in our Escacena project in the south. As I say, not sitting on our hands, we saw another opportunity. We've been really careful about the work we're doing, and we think this really does make the cut for us. So this current stage of work for us is pretty low cost. It's just people really, some boots on the ground. It's not distracting us from our main project. We have quite an extensive sampling program underway now. We use a portable XRF, so it's there's not laboratory costs at this stage for that type of work. 1,000 sample soil program we're doing at the moment. Geological mapping, it doesn't cost a lot. And then we're looking at potentially drilling 1 or 2 holes in probably the Providencia mine working before the end of the year, if that all goes well. And we think we can do that all within the budget that we set out at the beginning of this year.
Right. And you talk about, obviously it's been worked before. Can you tell us much about, what went before? What were they taking out of the ground?
Well, there's some evidence of mining before this, but the main phase of mining was 1870s through to about the 1930s. There was some sort of smaller mining in other areas in the property up to about 1960s. But it was this sort of 1870s and 1930s period that saw most of the activities. It was important enough that they built a smelter right next to near the mine, and so they were producing concentrates of copper and cobalt, both containing nickel, and then they were treating that in a smelter, and that smelter was destroyed during the Spanish Civil War. But anyway, so after that, there was really not a lot of exploration until the Siem Khalsa, the state-owned company, exploration company, came in there and started doing work, I think, from about 2016 or thereabouts. And they did modern exploration. It was sort of focused on a few selected areas, some good work, including underground sampling at the mines and mapping of the underground mines, etc. So after that, there's been no other exploration. Really, the last work was the 3 or 4 drill holes near the Profunda mine, and that was it.
So what historical data is there? Because I mean, talking about those holes, at Profunda, they're intersecting grades of 7.7% copper, 7.7% copper. That's again extraordinary. So they've left behind a lot of copper, it seems, and your job is to kind of maybe work towards identifying the kind of scale potential there, or if there is a scale potential possible. So you talk about maybe putting a couple of holes in. What sort of time frame are we talking about? So working up to that.
Well, we think we have enough information that we could drill both the Profunda and the Providencia breccia pipes today. So our initial target would be Providencia, and that area. Well, it's only been mined to about 100 metres or thereabouts. The mineralisation was still open. It looks like it's 300 plus metres of breccia width that we've mapped on the surface, and we can see from the work that's been done by Siem Khalsa that they've been able to observe high grade mineralisation in the walls of some of the old mine works, and that's what's been sampled and shown consistently, these high grades, and that's what's been left behind by the mining, not what was taken out. So of those 4 drill holes that were drilled, 2019 or something like that, 3 of those, they were all testing chargeability anomalies. 3 of those holes were sort of away from the breccia at Profunda, and the other one went through the part of the breccia and went through a 7-metre wide mine cavity, and then on the other side of that hit 1.95 metres of this sort of plus 7% copper plus all the other metals. That's what was left behind. So that was just further, let's say, verification of what they were probably taking out of the ground in that part of the mine. But it supported the consistently high grades from the underground sampling, both from the work sampling our team have done, but also by Siem Khalsa, that the company that we acquired the property from.
Right. Okay. And in terms of you've acquired this property, What are your obligations in terms of the transaction? Have you acquired 100%?
Yeah.
Or is this an earn-in? You have. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we acquired.
Any lab?
Yeah. So we initially approached them to see if they'd be interested in doing something, and then and then they decided to sell all their properties, and we put a letter offering. We won and were awarded the property. It was an all cash purchase, no options, no warrants, no shares issued, and no royalties, just straight transfer. So it took a little while to get the mineral rights then transferred to our name, and then we added a couple of new mineral rights through applications that we submitted directly, and here we are today.
Okay, so I know you've got places to be. You've obviously just come back from Spain as well. But what I'm hearing from this is we're super excited about the great potential you're getting after it in terms of boots on the ground. Maybe a couple of holes going in, which have been accounted for in the exploration budget. We can expect to hear more from you on this. When do you think?
Yeah, so we've got a team up there at the moment. So we'll have some results coming from that ground exploration work, which is looking at both looking for other pipes, but also looking to understand more of the potential immediately around the known mines as well. So that news shouldn't be far away. And we're in the process of just getting the environmental permits and so on to allow us to drill, and we'll try and get a rig on there just as soon as we can.
Brilliant. Okay, Tim, I'm going to let you go because I know you've got somewhere to be right now. Please come back and on again soon. I would love to talk about the whole package. It looks like you're building up something quite exciting in terms of the Spanish copper opportunity. So we will speak to you soon.
Thanks, Matt.